Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me see who's here already. Um, let's go way back to the beginning. Rochelle Baldreau, thank you so much for being here first. Connie Ballmer, as I reach for my lip balm. Every time I do that, I split my lip. There it is. And you guys, I have to tell you, yesterday I went over and picked up some things that were purchased from the official Royal Sussex wish list. I sent out the personal thank yous via the thank you card that comes with the gift. And anyway, I don't want to say the names just in case because I'm not sure. But I did receive those. There was this little art cube that I wanted. And also, there was a stainless steel double wall bowl. So now I have them in two sizes. Thank you for that. So beautiful. I'm sorry I forgot to upload the photos. Right? Okay. And then my sister was trying to surprise me. Every Christmas, my sister goes to the Dollar Tree and just fills up a box full of stuff she think I may need, whether it's hand lotion, whatever type of cleaning product, candy, all kind of stuff. So it's like you couldn't believe how much stuff she fits in the box. And so she was trying to surprise me, but I had already got a notification that she had sent me something. And so then I can't wait to get home so I can do it. Anyway, it's like one of my favorite things. Um, I don't care how much something costs or anything like that. That's not the point. But giving gifts is just like the coolest thing you can do, I think. And I love to give them. I love to get them. And anyway, so what a nice day. And then one of the squatties had sent me a cash app, was it? And told me to make sure that I treat myself to something nice. And so I've been kind of staying away from sushi because it's so expensive. Well, yesterday was the day. And I mean to tell you, it was like it was like a party on my tongue. It was so good. I hadn't had any for months because everything is more expensive. So I decided no more sushi. I have to cut some cost around here. But yesterday, I did have some, and it was amazing. It just goes to show that if you don't have something for a while, by the time you have it again, it's like a whole new experience. So thank you so much for that. So thank you for all the gifts I received. It was like Christmas yesterday. But yeah, thanks for spoiling me, you guys. Marine Reed, hello. Mary H. Let's see. Sharon Chung and Marilyn Farley, thank you for being here. Brenda Phillips, Mary Hiker. Let me see. Annie Bennett, Dorothy Ross. Where's my hugs, Dorothy Ross? You're supposed to put those X's up there so I know that I am embraced. There we go. I'll just send you some today. So there you go. There's some X's for you. Let me see. And Lydia Washington, Mackenzie, Kim Peaches, Mama Jane, Carol Lund. Did I say that already? Angela One Love, Annie Bennett. Okay, you know what? I'm starting to repeat myself, so I'm just going to scroll, make sure I didn't miss any super chats in case there was a special announcement or something. And I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, I hope I'm not going too fast. I don't think I missed any. Thank you, Dorothy Ross. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Let's show that newly minted Princess of Wales how it's done. We don't do any fake hand gestures and pretend like we remember who the person is or anything like that, right? Oh, man. You guys, they are driving. Oh, by the way, and my box that my sister sent me, it was actually a Valentine. So I didn't get a Christmas list this time, but I did get a Valentine. So when I opened it up, there was a card, and then there was a big heart on top that said love, happy Valentine's, and stuff like that, repeated over and over again. So that was a nice surprise. Okay, let me see here. I am going to, oh, you know what? I need slides. That's what I'm missing. I need my slides. Okay, yeah, it goes so much better if I have my slides. All that talking, and I could have brought them up already. Hello, Mo Shannon, Compton Cali Gal. Hello to you. Kids Indoor, did I say that? Lottie. Madison Bonaparte. Okay. Ma Jones, hi. Sheila C, hello. Okay. Oh, that was from yesterday. That's not the one I want. Let me try that again. Okay. All right. I just, okay, I'm sorry. Let me do this and this. There we go. Boo! Oh, man. So some things backfired in the most epic manner today. I love it. Okay, so British media, Princess Meghan obsession, they are running out of fake stories. They really are. I'll talk about that later. But for now, let's just remember Raquel Welch, who passed away after a short illness. She was just getting her nails done the other day, and I saw this story yesterday, and it was one of those things that just she's so how do I put it? She's so full of life, always so full of life, always eternally young, that you just couldn't imagine a world without Raquel Welch, who, believe it or not, was born in Chicago. And I think her father was from South America somewhere, from some country. So she was actually not only a bombshell, but she was also very biracial. Interesting, huh? But I knew she was biracial. I thought she was actually, I thought she was Puerto Rican, but I may be confusing her with another actor. But yeah, so what an interesting life she's had. I remember seeing her on Oprah one time, and Oprah, on another show, she said that before she interviewed Raquel Welch had told Oprah, she said, well, when do I come by? Oh, thank you, Margarita Perez, Bolivia. Thank you. She told Oprah, she said, well, when can I come by for the lighting rehearsal? And Oprah, who had worked on local television and such, I mean, she had been in television for a few years at that point. She said, what? She said, yeah, the lighting rehearsal. Oprah had never heard of a lighting rehearsal. She would show up, she would work, and that was that. Well, of course, Oprah being so young and so fair, at that point, she had never had to worry about things like a lighting rehearsal. So that is the one story that I remember from Raquel Welch, on the old Oprah Winfrey show, is when she said that. And then after that, Oprah became obsessed with lighting. And I have to tell you guys, the lighting, because the thing is, people with a certain amount of melanin find it difficult to get good lighting on television. And for years, you guys remember back in the 70s, it was always really bad lighting for Black people in movies and television. Now, you know what, guys? Sometimes I get into a little side story, but I have to share this with you because it just came to mind. So I like to, share stuff. So the thing is, television wasn't made for Black people, especially when they went to color television. And so they never really put any effort or any technology into people with darker skin. And so Oprah was one of the reasons why lighting on television has become progressively better for Black people. And even cameras, even the old Kodak cameras and such, they didn't do very well when it came to Black people. And so, of all things, it was like Sears catalog among other people or businesses or companies that complained about lighting Black people or giving Black people a proper color, because they would, um, put furniture and stuff in the catalogs and the color just wasn't right. And so it was actually something that took some years to get into place. So, anyway, sorry to take you guys on a little sidetrack like that, but it's just something I remembered. It was the lighting and such. So, this is one of the ways that people will always remember Raquel Welch. It wasn't her favorite thing. There was days when she was happier about it and days when she wasn't, but mostly she had created a image that she pretty much stuck to most of her career. And it wasn't, and it's really sad, it wasn't until later that people started really taking her serious as an actor. And, but yeah, she was quite a beautiful woman and still very beautiful, as you can see. Younger and older photos on the right. And then here is, I think the one on the right is from her 80th birthday. And the one on the left was probably, what, 17, 18, 19. So she kept her good looks by whatever means necessary, I'm sure. But she kept her good looks, and she made it in Hollywood, something that was not easy to do for anyone. But after she had been pigeonholed into a certain characterization, she had to, constantly fight for her career. But yeah, she had a very honest conversation with Oprah, if I recall. One of her kids, she was always working on her career. And one of her kids, if I recall, said that she signed a birthday card, Raquel Welch, instead of, mom or something like that. So, but she was hardworking and driven, and she wanted to make a career for herself. So, but she was very honest about things in life. So, to give you guys a little homework to look into Raquel Welch biography if you want to learn something about her. But yeah, so she passed away yesterday, and I was so shocked that when I saw it, I was just like, and I had cupped my hand over my mouth, and that's something that I don't think I've ever done before in life. But I was just shocked, and I'm just like, wow, I've always seen people do that, and I was surprised that I did it, but I was genuinely shocked. I mean, Raquel Welch is timeless, and I just could not believe. I'm just like, really, Raquel Welch? Well, I didn't even know she was that old, to be honest with you. I didn't really think about it because she aged very slowly. So, all right, but thank you guys for sending out your rest in peace and rest in heavens and so on and so forth. But yeah, thank you. And moving on, the echo chamber. Now, I don't know when the tweet on the right side was posted, because the person that shared that did not leave a date, and I covered up the name of the other person. But notice how similar the tweets are, if not identical. The sanctimonious tweets reducing Camilla to little more than Charles's mistress are pretty laden with ignorance and sexism. People would do well to read up on Britain's future queen consort. She's a pretty remarkable lady. Huh. And then, of course, the sanctimonious tweets reducing Camilla to little more than Charles's mistress are pretty laden with ignorance and sexism. People would do well to read up on Britain's future queen consort. She's a pretty remarkable lady. Um, it just goes to show what a lot of people have been saying for a long time is that amongst the royal reporters, the royal rotors, and so on, there always seems to be one feeds the other. And it's always confusing in which direction are some of the nastier comments or more disparaging comments about the Sussexes. You don't know which direction they're coming from. Like, for instance, we have on more than one occasion found out that this person has been in constant contact and association with some of the trolls and haters and derangers, which sometimes is all one and the same. And of course, she takes that energy that she's putting out and taking in from social media. And then next thing you know, she's on television. After all, Megan's an actress, and she probably wrote the book. Harry doesn't really have a say. Megan is an actress, and whatever Megan says, Megan gets. It's really what Megan wants. Whatever. Because after all, Megan, she's a Hollywood actress, and she always gets what she wants. So yeah, you can never really tell who's the audience because whether she's online or on television, I'll give her one thing: she's consistent. She's consistently evil and mischievous, and she's just a troll. She's a troll. When they made that doll, the only thing that was missing was the hair. So of course, I took a little license and gave it the proper mushroom hairdo. But there you go. That little garden gnome of a woman that seems to have it in for the Sussexes, have it in for the Sussexes, have far too often been caught out because of the fact that she seems to be in some kind of alliance or cahoots with the trolls and haters on the social media. So typical. Chef Sandy Love, thank you so much for this the super sticker. Yeah. Well, Megan's going to get it because Royal Sussex is actually Megan, and he probably has cameras in his pocket. Remember, they were. She said that the Sussexes had cameras in their pockets, and they probably recorded their visit with the Queen. But thank you so much, Chef Sandy Love. And of course, as you guys know, Victoria Arbiter, Vicky Arbiter, actually blocked me. I've never had any contact with her whatsoever. I never have conversations with any of those royal reporters, but she blocked me. And well, anyway, I was kind of curious about her account one day and I went and looked and I'm just like, wait a minute, what the what? And next thing I know, I find out that I'm actually blocked. So, which is fine. But anyway, she's a tough one. She'll be okay. I think her lashes have grown back or she went and bought some. But for someone like her who has been through the struggle that she's been through ever since she took that 300 pounds to say she's seen an interview that was not even broadcast yet. I'm poor, white. I may even be lashless, but dear God, I'm here. I'm here. So, yeah. Oh, man. When I saw that interview and she said that she couldn't eat and her lashes had fell out and everything, I'm just like, um, do you guys hear violins? I hear it too. I mean, what did she want? What did she want? She got caught out by the uh, pranksters on YouTube. And then she wanted to blame everybody in the world because she said that she saw an interview that she didn't actually see. And so she put a little pressure on them, and they actually removed her portion of that video. But her father was also in the video, along with what was it? Richard Fitzsimmons or Fitzpatrick or Fitzwilliams. Yeah, Richard Fitzwilliam, and that other troll, Ingrid Seaward or Seaweed, Ingrid Seaweed. All of them were in there, and some. But I would love to know who was the royal reporters who turned down that little cash offer to give a response to a video which was not even shown. I would love to know who those other reporters were. Hey, Ronnie, I see you're here. Sunshine is here. Terry, Judy, educate you too. Eliza, Shanae, Jacqueline, Baltimore, Linda Lala, Chef Sandy Love. I said hi, right? Light Side of the Moon, Black Queen, Kim Peaches. Say it's only a paper moon sailing across a cardboard sea. Say it's only make believe if you believe in me. Okay, 5 weeks. #1 New York Times bestseller, combined print and ebook nonfiction. Spare still reigns supreme. I was trying to figure that out. Did it come out on a Thursday or something like that? Okay, it came out on the 10th, and I guess that was 5 weeks ago, right? I'm not good at that. But I know who would know. Hey Siri, how many weeks ago was January the 10th?
It was 5 weeks ago.
Okay, hey Siri, do you think I'm sexy?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Hey Siri, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A woodchuck would chuck as much as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. But he can't. How about another tongue twister?
She said, hey Siri, can you say she sells by the seashore?
I'm not sure I understand.
Hey Siri, do you think Camilla Parker Bowles is attractive?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Hey Siri, do you think King Charles III's ears are too big?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Hey Siri, do you think I'm sexy?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Okay, I get the message.
I'm not sure I understand.
All right. Boy, I tell you. For some reason, I thought it was really cool to have my Siri with an English accent. So, you can program Australian English, British English, or, anyway. So that is that for the New York Times. I wonder if Siri knows that. Hey Siri, which book is on the New York Times bestseller list as #1?
Okay, I found this on the web for which book is on the New York Times bestseller list as #1. Check it out.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to say. All right, never mind. Okay, you guys, let's move on. Do they have a Jamaican accent? Uh, yes, if you go into the menu and look under Trenchtown, man, that is the Jamaican accent. Um, that is that that that's the Jamaican accent. You have to go into the menu and look for Trenchtown, man. Or and they also have one that's called Sweet Brown. There's an accent called Sweet Brown. So yeah, they have one for everything. But ain't nobody got time for that. I would like to know if they have one for the Princess of Wales. That would be fun. You know, if it answers back, maybe be. That's the one I'm looking for. Do they have one for the Princess of Wales? Let's see. I don't suspect they do. Okay. Okay. All right, you guys. That was fun, but we need to move on. I got plenty to cover. Okay, so looks like Princess Diana's butler is getting a little beside himself because he wasn't name dropped in Spare. Diana's former butler claims nothing was good enough for Prince Harry. Now, he was somewhat modestly supportive of Harry before that book came out, but now that the book is out, Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, has spoken out against Prince Harry's behavior toward the royal family, saying he needs to take accountability for the stress he has caused them. Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, the one who took all her stuff out of the house in the middle of the night while she laid in, I'm sorry, while she was lying in state in the house, that Paul Burrell, who was arrested when they raided his house, he had everything from her underwear to her purple Versace gown. That Paul Burrell has hit out at Prince Harry following the release of his highly anticipated Netflix series and the tell-all memoir the Duke of Sussex wrote in his autobiography Spare that the former butler milked his mother's death when he published his 2001 excuse me book A Royal Duty. A Royal Duty. That's I didn't know that was the name of the book. A Royal Duty. Is that like posh for a pile of, is that what that means? A royal duty? Is that a pile of, don't you flush a royal duty? Anyway, so a, a royal duty, that's so, ugh, that's stupid. Anyway, where was I? Um, okay. I lost my place. The Sussex wrote all about. Okay, in Despair. Milks his mother's death when he published the 2001 book, A Royal Duty. Or as Barbara Walters would say, a boyo woody. A boyo woody. And Paul Werrell wrote a book called The Royal Woody. Anyway, which shared private information about the royals. When speaking to Slingo Paul, Slingo, is that a mag? Oh, that must be the magazine Slingo. Okay. When speaking to Slingo, Paul claimed Prince Harry has changed from a free, easygoing boy into a very serious and very media-minded man. He slammed the Duke for not making it easy on the late Queen when she bent over backwards to try and accommodate him and his wife Meghan to make them stay with the royal family. So he's kind of bitter and salty because Harry didn't mention his name. Even if Harry said something really bad about him, they would have been able, or I'm sorry, he would have been able to monetize that for the rest of his life. Well, Harry just referred to him as Mummy's butler. In other words, the help. Harry just referred to him as the help, and he took exception to it. He did not like the fact that Harry referred to him as the help. But that's what he is, right? The help. He's not relevant, he's just the help. And the help that wrote a book called what was it? The Butler's Duty, whatever. So nothing seems to have been enough to make them want to stay. So I think to myself, you can try all you like. If they were so minded to leave the royal family, which they were, nothing was going to persuade them to stay. He has also, by the way, you guys, this guy, Paul Burrell, Paul Burrell actually tried to crash the Sussex wedding. He was so shameless. Now, this is the guy that stole Mummy's underwear, right? This is the guy that had, I mean, there were actually items of clothing that was so personal that it was just in bad taste to not only take it, but to even, I don't even know what he was going to try to do with it or what. I don't know if he was putting it on and parading around the house or what was going on. But this is the guy that stole Mummy's knickers. So why would you want to name drop someone who literally stole your mama's drawers? I wouldn't. Would you? I mean, it's bad enough to do something like that when a person is alive, but his mummy had lost her life tragically and mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris. And while the rest of the world was mourning, some people were taking items out of the house. Now, to be fair, he was not exonerated, but the charges were dropped, I believe, or they couldn't proceed because the Queen had a sudden recollection of a conversation where she asked him to hold on to a few items. I wonder if Her Majesty realized that a few items was actually over 300 items. 300 items. While everybody else is mourning, Paul Burrell was holding on to 300 items that belonged to Princess Diana, including an antique writing desk. Okay? An antique writing desk. The security at the Kensington Palace was very curious about his coming and going. And he came up with some story about the Queen had asked him to do something. Now, whether she did or she didn't, I personally don't believe that that was the case. However, I'll say this much: a few items is a long way from the 300 plus items that the police raided his house to retrieve. A house he lived in with his wife and his children. Well, not only was he not the person that he seemed to be while employed with the royal family, it turns out that after his time with the family had passed, after he begged the Queen to let him stay in a grace and favor property, it turns out that, well, he was actually destined to marry a man. Nothing wrong with that. Be who you are, not who you were. And that's exactly what he did. Now, whether he was before or not, I don't know. Actually, I'm kidding. I do know. He said Diana knew that he was gay, and that was a little secret that they kept with one another. It was so secret that every queen from here to Harlem knew about it. but they just didn't say anything. So my whole point is this guy is like a chameleon. He can be whatever he needs to be under whatever circumstances in any situation. He wasn't able to portray himself as a wedding guest because, well, he didn't make it inside the wedding. They stopped him at the door, but he and his husband were trying to crash the Sussex wedding. So, after that, he was kind of like, cool and warm with Harry and Meghan. But now that he's not mentioned in the most um, famous book in the world today, and now that he's not mentioned in a New York Times #1 bestseller in every genre of publishing today for 5 straight weeks, now he's going on talk shows and saying whatever he can to try to make himself relevant. So I wonder what the Queen would think of that if she knew that Paul Burrell was carrying on like that. What would her response be? Oh, I think I know. She'd probably wag her finger at him. That's what she would do. She'd probably wag her finger at him. So there you go, you guys. That's my little thing with Paul Burrell. He's not the nicest person in the world. And yes, he has been diagnosed with an illness. And, I hope him a speedy recovery and the best possible quality of life. But just between me and you all, he's shady, very shady. And to think that he carried on like he was Princess Diana's best friend in the world, I wonder sometimes exactly how much more difficult Princess Diana's life may have been because she had someone like a Paul Burrell around, someone who was lawfully married, then he wasn't, then he got married again, different gender this time, someone who was asked to retrieve allegedly a few things to hold for the Queen. Why the Queen would care, I don't know, because the stuff belonged to Harry and William, not the Queen. But of course, they realized that he could not go to court because he had all the dirt. He had all the dirt. And if I'm going down, you are going with me. So in the 11th hour, they recalled a conversation that the Queen asked him to retrieve a few things. Now, that would have worked out just fine if it was just a few things, not 300. What was Paul Burrell going to do with a Versace gown? What was the Queen going to do with a Versace gown? Now, the Queen, according to that intruder back in the 80s, still had a rather girlish figure, right? I remember in the stories that came out, he said he was surprised that Betty had such a girlish figure. But by the time Princess Diana died tragically and mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris, I'm pretty sure Her Majesty was well past the Versace gown stage of her life. So she was well past the Versace stage. As a matter of fact, I don't suspect the Queen has ever worn Versace. So there's a hole in that story big enough to drive a car so loaded with Princess Diana's personal possessions that the boot of the car is dragging the ground through it. Oh, Barbara McKay says, thank you, Baron, for giving me something to look forward to every day. You are quite welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a member, and as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So that is my little Paul Burrell. Okay, let me take this away and let's go on to the next. Well, this guy right here had a thing or two to say. Now, last time I tried this, I think, oh no, it wasn't that time, but I did this before one day and it was laden with F bombs. So let me see if I could do it this time.
It's always interesting when the unmoisturized types come to my page and say, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying about the royal family, but it's just interesting that you guys are talking about how we're insulting Meghan, but you're insulting Kate. I think you're confused as to what page you're on. I am not telling you to do better. I'm telling you that if you go low, I'm going to go lower. That's basically me saying whatever you do, I'm going to also do, but I'm going to do it better. So if you want to be racist, xenophobic, bigoted, whatever, fine, be that. But understand that I'm going to attack every single negative trait, physical trait about you that I can see, and I'm going to highlight. So if Harry is being attacked by his brother because he's basically saying he doesn't want to be a part of the royal family anymore, and the brother decides to physically attack him, I'm going to say he looks like Nosferatu. When it becomes evident that Queen Consort Camilla has something to do with the diminishing relationship between the father and his son, I'm going to call her Queen Consort side chick. And Kate is just bland. The read writes itself. You can just say that you don't like Meghan because this mixed race woman is overshadowing a mediocre at best white woman. You know how I know she's overshadowing her? Because you guys never talk about her, but you're always talking about Meghan. As much as you guys hate Meghan, you can't keep her out of your mouth. She could literally be doing nothing and not being seen, and you still have something to say, which tells me that you're threatened by her because you know that your future queen, Kate, is mediocre at best, and your current queen, Queen Consort Camilla, is a side chick, and the two sons, they're adulterers. Philandering cheater, and it upsets you that Harry prioritized the protection of his not only American wife, but mixed race wife over this toxic institution.
Okay, so there you go. I like this guy. I like him too. All right. Oh, no, sorry, didn't mean to do that. And there we go. So that was yet another truth bomb from TikTok. I got to start following some of these people on TikTok. Sometimes I can just barely see their names, in the videos, but people share their TikToks on the Twitter, and that's the only way I see these. So I'm going to have to start subscribing to some of these people on TikTok. I want to do more TikToks. Actually, I only ever did one. Excuse me. But I want to do some TikToks, and I promised that I was going to do shorts, and I haven't done any. So I'm gonna get it done. All right. So let's see. Anne is here. Welcome, Anne from Duchess of Success. And who else did I see here? Robin Hyde, Jeannie Hyde. Wow, interesting. Jennifer Clark, Terry H. All right, 1,450 people in the chat. Shut the front door. Shut the front door. Okay, so the Sussex Squad Detective Agency. I don't know how I missed this, but there's been so much going on since the Harry and Meghan docuseries came out that I really need to go back and watch it because I'm forgetting certain parts. But yes, it's true. There was that scene where Meghan went to her old grade school, was it? Was it the Little Red Schoolhouse? And she embraced her teacher. And of course, Meghan, who had amazing penmanship, even wrote about one of these days when I'm rich and famous, blah, 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 blah. And what do you know? Meghan is rich and famous. And as they say, a promise made is a promise kept. She did go back to that schoolhouse. And so somehow the very contrived existence of the newly minted Princess of Wales, they managed to dig out some old hobo or some vagabond somewhere, clean him up, put some clean clothes on him, and had him go and pose as her teacher. And of course, he told the mother of all lies she hadn't changed a bit. When you and I both know, you and I both know that she has changed, and it's by more than just a bit. So no, I'm just kidding. That's not a hobo. That wasn't somebody riding the rails or sitting by some little fire and eating sardines out of a can or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, that they went and found some hobo and cleaned him up and had him excuse me. Let me drink a little water here. Okay, so vivid are my imaginations sometimes, huh? Okay, so let's give it to Rihanna for the Vogue cover. Now, this may cause a bit of controversy because this is not, what's her name, Annie Leibovitz or whatever her name is. This is not one of those Annie Annie Leibovitz. I can't even say her name. Anyway, this is one of her things, but they have used the, I like it. I mean, I don't mind it so much, and I understand why some people are kind of put off about it, but I thought this was incredibly tasteful. So I haven't heard any murmurings about it. Again, it wasn't the same photographer that always seems to get in hot water. So, but anyway, I think it's pretty cool. Let me see here. Seriously, would Kate stand out in the classroom? Well, let's see. Let me try to find. There we go. Would she stand out in the classroom? Only if you tell a knock knock joke. Only if there's hair extensions available. Or perhaps if she does her imitation of the Phantom of Westminster Abbey, she might stand out on those occasions, but one could never tell, could you? Oh, man. Let's see. Baron, the people are asking for a vocal duet. I heard that. I don't know when we'll make that happen, but sure, because as soon as I'm done here, the first thing I do is go and rip the door off the refrigerator. So, but yeah, we'll have to make that happen. But we got to pick a good song. It's got to be something special. It's one of my improvised numbers, I think. Oh, let me take this non-existent backside off of the screen. All right, so there's the first couple photos right there. And then there's this one. You know what it is? I think it's okay, this one, these two, okay, the lighting is pretty cool. But this one, this is like, it's like a bare light bulb kind of light. You know what I mean? If you're a little longer tooth like me, remember you go down in the basement and you're reaching around in the dark trying to find that chain so you can pull that little chain and turn the light on. That's what this lighting reminds me of. Again, I love the photos. I find it very tasteful. It's elegant and matching the red and yellow. That's always a good look. But it just reminds me of those old bare incandescent light bulbs where you go in the pantry, you're reaching around and trying to find that chain, and then the chain is broken. So somebody inevitably ties a shoelace to it. And then when that breaks, then somebody takes some other type of string, and you got 2 or 3 different things. And then don't let the thing break. And then you have to go and screw the light bulb in. So that's what it kind of reminds me of, is the 60-watt bare incandescent light bulb that just happens to have one of the most beautiful women in the world basking in the glow of it. That's what it reminds me of. Oh boy, I tell you, I am really aging myself now. And of course, I think they're a gorgeous couple. They appear to be very much in love. They both have their careers. Obviously, they like each other because they're on to child number 2. So cheers to them. I wish them many years of happiness. Okay, so here we go. As I said earlier, they seem to be so obsessed with Meghan. They just keep thinking up and coming up with every time. Okay, this time, of course, they found a little thread that they could pull upon Meghan. I mean, they really had to dig. It's nothing that they haven't said before, but we just happened to come across the non-existent TIG, and we found something in the TIG that we thought rather curious. I thought Meghan said that she didn't know anything about the royal family. Huh? When the only thing she said was little girls dream of being princesses. I, for one, was all about She-Ra, Princess of Power. She was thinking about being a powerful woman even as a child. And grown-up women seem to retain this childhood fantasy. That's it. It had nothing to do with the royal family. But, okay, let me finish here. Just look at the pomp and circumstance surrounding the royal wedding and endless conversations about Princess Kate. So when my dear friend Misan Harriman, this was 2014, introduced me to Princess Alea Al-Senussi, I had a bit of a pinch myself. I'm emailing with a princess moment. In other words, she's celebrating the fact that she has a friendship with someone who has a great platform. There's nothing here that says, one of these days I'm going to marry a prince. I'm going to become a princess. None of that is here. The Al-Senussi family was exiled from Libya when Gaddafi seized the throne in a coup d'etat, but that hasn't stopped, I hope I said her name right, Alayla, from flexing her respective royal muscles. Alayla is on board of trustees for Global Heritage Fund, where she concentrates on their activities in Libya. End of story. It's not obsessing about the British royal family, although just putting the headline out there, you guys, I started watching, what's her name? What is her name? The Boleyn girl. I forget her name. I'm so embarrassed. But, the one that, the channel that I only just discovered a little while ago. So I've been watching her channel, and she talks about the supermarket tabloid when she walks in. She that's it right there. How come I'm not seeing her name? Claudia Boleyn. Thank you so much. Claudia Boleyn. I found it finally. So Claudia Boleyn, she speaks about how she goes through the supermarket, and so she doesn't buy the magazines. As far as I know, I think she just takes a picture of it, and then she discuss some of the, meanings behind the headlines and the photos and stuff. And as you guys know, that's been like one of my kicks lately, is what is the purpose and the meaning of this and that. Which, to be fair, I've been on that for a while. And it's really interesting because you don't have to buy the magazine to get what they're trying to force feed you. You don't have to buy the magazines to take in the negativity, the propaganda, or to be gaslit by their intentions, because it's like a billboard in the retail space. And a lot of people who are waiting in line, or queuing, if you will, for the Brits, people that are queuing, they see these headlines, and there's an ongoing narrative or an ongoing dialogue with, oh, thank you, Church Nelly. I'm surprised I caught that. I will post that. So this is Claudia Bolin's channel. And yeah, so it's an ongoing narrative where they are literally planting these seeds in people's minds. And most people just take it for what it says. They assume because it's in print, it must be true. And so when you see something like they didn't even tell the Queen, or they didn't even ask the Queen, or, some of the stuff that they were throwing at the Sussexes for the years that they were there, that has a powerful effect on the hearts and minds of people. And so I spoke about that yesterday. Like this one right here, I start my day as an American. I'm seeing this propaganda about Meghan. The British Daily Mail at that same hour was talking about Nicola Sturgeon. This is what they wanted to make sure, that this consciousness streaming of negativity, that's what they wanted to make sure that you took in to start your day. And after that, then there'll be another article or another leak or another headline that comes from a whole different news source, but they all seem to say the same thing. Isn't that interesting? And like I said, the first time I ever noticed how everybody seems to be in character was because of the Republican Party here in the United States. The way that they all seem to have the same talking points all day long on the various cable news channels. Well, of course, I abandoned those years ago. And I could see what they were doing. I mean, I never thought it was a coincidence that everybody was saying the same thing at the same time. But there are some people who don't know the difference. They think if one person said it and another person said it, then it must be true. They ask no questions. And that's what makes the panelists on Loose Women, The View, The Talk, whatever show, Jeremy Vine, Good Morning Britain, when you have those panels of people, even if you have a powerful voice like Dr. Shola, you still have thoughts and ideas that are being force-fed to people, and you purposely or subliminally take them in, and they really affect the way your day is going to evolve, the way you will view people, your opinions about the weather, your opinions about the price of fuel. Everything is affected by that. It's not the whole story, but it becomes part of the story. And that's why I get very nervous about those things. Like this one here, one of the houses of Windsor wanted you to believe that Kate was ready to leave. And I'm sorry, not leave, but lead. I seriously believe that they were of the opinion, whoever they are, that they somehow was going to jump right past Charles, that Charles was so weak and so broken that surely the people's will would lead them to the Cambridges. I don't know why that happened, but I know that it did happen because, common sense says there's no way that Charles is going to step aside for his son, and he didn't. But yet, for a few years, it was king and queen, Queen Kate, Kate ready to lead. That was very strange. That was very, very strange. And as you can see, look at the headlines. You see what I mean? You don't have to buy the paper, you don't have to buy the magazine, but you're still getting the message. And then after a while, some people will say, well, maybe Charles shouldn't be the next king. Well, mission accomplished, right? But it didn't work. It did not work. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back over here. Take a look at a couple of your comments before I continue. Remember, Harry said in Spare that the media has a backlog of photos that they bring up at will. Linda, I have a backlog of photos that I bring up at will. You know full well that I have a backlog of photos. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just kidding. But we all do. And as Harry was saying, that is a thing that they bring up these photos. And you know what, Linda, I understand what you're saying. And I believe I just mentioned that yesterday, that those photos do make a difference. They do drive a narrative. They do say, like, this is where we were yesterday, if you recall, if you watched yesterday. There you have Camilla coughing. It's like that fake kind of cough, like you would do that when you want to take a measure of the person across from you. And then there's the photo of Meghan. They have some go-to photos that make Meghan seem so diabolical and so sly and slick. And then, of course, let's take a look at the fuller view of the first photo there. There it is. So there you have, they're actually in a carriage, which you could probably see that from here. Maybe not, but that's the actual photo. So Kate is full of herself as usual and don't care about anybody. Harry has this very uncomfortable position just across from the woman who, as we can see today, has taken over his mother's life. And then, of course, there's Meghan waving to the crowd and, not very comfortable having to be there in the first place, as we later found out, seeing that she was on maternity leave. But they wanted her there, so there she is. But yeah, so that whole message right there is that Camilla knows that there's something about her, right? And then, of course, this one, as they were attacking Meghan during the mourning period for the Queen, there's Meghan frozen in time, looking as though she's ready to push the Queen over the balcony, right? That's the message that we're supposed to get. And that the palace was justified turning her away from Balmoral, or actually refusing to allow her to come to Balmoral. And there's dutiful Kate in mourning, but she's still going to pick up the kids from school in spite of how devastated that she is that the Queen has gone to her glory. As a matter of fact, she's so devastated, later on she looked just like this. Later on, she looked just like this and this. And of course, her mama looked just like this. One down, one to go. Okay? That's how devastated she was. And I'm pretty sure within no time, she was jazz handing, grinning, adding extensions to her hair, the whole gambit, everything. It was like nothing had ever happened. As a matter of fact, by the time that they got to that reception that they the Sussexes either refused to attend or was not invited to, she never felt better. As a matter of fact, she was smiling and laughing and greeting the crowd. William was, well, he doesn't smile, but William was grimacing and sneering and greeting the crowd. They were touching Black people. Remember, Kate touched the arm of the president of South Africa. And so they were in good shape. I mean, you would have thought they would have been on the verge of collapse, that their composure was about to dissolve. But instead, that's not exactly how we saw them. We saw this and this, smiling and grinning from ear to ear. So yeah, thank you so much, Linda. But the you're right, the photos are very powerful and are definitely used to drive the narrative. And I'm always fascinated with the new and varied uses that they have for those photos. Like here, you see Meghan doing the same thing that every tourist has done going to London. You take the typical photo in front of Buckingham Palace. I have one, everybody has one. But what they don't mention is the fact that there's a very similar photo in front of the Louvre on the same trip to Europe. You'll never hear that from the tabloid media, but there is a very similar photo of Princess Meghan in front of the Louvre, which again, I have one of those too. Everybody has one. That's the point. Everybody has one. So none of this really makes any sense unless you want to stretch the reality into something that it's not. So compared the first meeting to medieval times, fine. The curtsy thing, fine. The curtsy does look ridiculous. But she has been very respectful of the Queen. She hasn't said anything bad about the Queen. But if your truth is, I felt like I was at medieval times, dinner and tournament, then that's your truth. They told the truth. And they're punished for being authentic. And the whole thing about, oh, I Google the plumber, I Google this. I've heard people say that. I still don't believe that. I don't believe she Googled. Googling Harry, when I want to know about someone, I go to their feed, just as she said. What is your feed? Your Instagram, your Facebook. There's nothing to Google about Harry. His life has been led in the public fishbowl since what, 1983? 82, 83? What is there to learn from Googling someone? That is so ridiculous. And the fact that people cling to that is so irksome to me. It's the height of ignorance as far as I'm concerned. The height of ignorance. I never Google someone. If I want to know something, I go to their feed. Now that's the story. She went to his feed, but they don't want to hear that. They want to believe that she was trying to find his net worth and she was what is there to find? He went to the army, he left the army. He went to boarding school, he left boarding school. There's no there. There's nothing to gain from that, especially at that point in time. And whatever you say, nobody could ever accept how ridiculous it is that she Googled him. She's living in Canada. Occasionally, the royals pop up on television. Oh, I'm exhausted of that one, the Google thing. So I'm going to just move on. Okay, so there's Shira, the Princess of Power. This is what Meghan imagined herself as being a Shira, the Princess of Power. How innocent. How innocent. How childlike. That she didn't want to be a pampered princess. She wanted to be a powerful princess. Try to find that in the narrative somewhere. She wanted to be strong, strong enough to help and defend others. That's it. It wasn't about, oh, peasants, wait on me, do this for me. She just wanted to be strong, strong enough to fight the fight so that she can carry on her platform of defending the downtrodden, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. That's it. And then, of course, leave it to the tabloid media and the haters to turn it into something devious and nefarious and shady, when nothing could be further from the truth. There's little Meghan plotting and scheming. She's on a school field trip or at Universal Studio, and behind those horn-rimmed glasses lurks the heart of someone who's trying to figure out how to get into that Buckingham Palace. Well, of course, at this age, she hadn't been there yet. But there she is. Look at her plotting and scheming, trying to figure out how to nab the prince and live happily ever after. Oh, I tell you, if only she had been found out sooner. If only that little speckled top wearing, horn-rimmed glasses sporting, not sure what to do with her herring girl could have been found out sooner, then all of this could have been avoided. But somehow she had managed to evade detection for years until she got her hands on Prince Charming, who was living in Nottingham Cottage with his clothes in plastic bins. Not exactly the fairy tale that the tabloids would have you believe. But that's the reality of it. Just by chance, they found each other. And, and I have it on good authority to date. She doesn't have any of Shira's powers, but she does have the hearts and the minds of millions of people in the United States and around the world who believe her special and also believe that Prince Harry is quite special too. And we also know that they are not only the most popular royals today, but they are also the most influential royals, especially from that Windsor Mountbatten household. They are top drawer. So there you go. Okay, and there's another look at Destiny. Harry at boarding school and Princess Meghan in high school. And who knew that one day that they would change the world forever? This is a photo that I took myself. There I am in front of Buckingham Palace. And I had a chance to take their photo going. And then this is them going back. And then later on, they appeared on the balcony. So that is my photo. All right. Pick me, Harry. I'm your blonde English rose. And so there are still so many women who still are hoping against hope, waiting and believing that someday Harry will come to his senses and he will run back to England and find himself a proper English rose, complete with a Karen haircut. They are waiting. They are wasting away as they plot, as they wait, as they dream of the day that Harry is going to leave and come back and be a part of that circus again. Well, I tell you what, keep waiting. Keep waiting. Let me see here. I tell you what, let me take a look here. That's why he had to write his memoir. He actually pursued her as he was the one who inquired. The prince saw his princess and ensured that he let her know. Right, exactly, Marjorie. Thank you so much for that. And let me see. Delvive says they want Meghan weak and dumb like Kate, who don't do anything but listen to her stage mother, who wants to be queen mother. Exactly. I'm telling you guys, I know it doesn't make sense, but she's hoping someday that they'll say, oh, she's just like a queen mother. Oh, I rule the day. But yeah, okay, let me go back here. And Harry was saved from being abused and now has his dream come true. His own family. Exactly. He's living the life that Princess Diana really wanted for herself. And because she did not want to be so far away from her kids, it just wasn't possible at the time. But let me see. Said Manello says no matter who married to Harry, she was to get the same treatment because they let him sleep or live in those disgusting places. They are still angry at Harry for finding a well-educated woman. Exactly, exactly. As Harry said, and then when you throw in the African American blood, then that just made a potentially bad situation that much worse. That's exactly what happened. It just made a potentially bad situation so much worse. Baron, it's because the majority of these the majority of these heifers doing this research had to Google shake and squat their behind to the top. They can't fathom a woman of color getting there with integrity. Some of the best comments have heifer in there somewhere. Let me see. Baron, even Stevie Wonder could see her in the car with those dark sunglasses on with a smirk on her face. Yeah, she was sitting up there smirking, thinking about how much more jewelry she's going to have now. She don't have to go through Angela Kelly to get the pieces she wants. Let me see. Gail Anita says, Baron, I don't know what further the media wants to know. Everything is laid bare. There is no scoop. Their lives are now an open book on their terms. Exactly. That was very well put. Their lives are now an open book on their terms. And that's all that matters. That's all that is important is, let me see. Leg says the English rose phrase shows their xenophobia. That it does. That it does. It absolutely does. And thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, the comparison between the two princesses, at the root of it, there's racism. There's a slight bit of anti-Americanism, but we all know that if Meghan was a blonde bombshell, there would be a lot of jealousy, but there wouldn't be the same type of hostility by any stretch of the imagination. So race plays the major part of it. And then too, there's the jealousy from a very mediocre woman who found herself thrust into the position of being the next Princess of Wales. And now that she is Princess of Wales, she actually has to do some work. She should have been working before, but you didn't hear me say that. Let me see here. Let me see. It's funny how young Meghan had a lot going for herself since at a young age, is it? What have Kate done? All she did was wait so she could be a fake Diana, but it lasts while it lasts. Yeah, that's true. It's only going to last so long. And then after that, like I say, she'll get tired soon. The energy that she's expending is unusual for her, even under the best of circumstances. And you know what happens when you try very hard to outdo someone that you really don't measure up to, is you start making mistakes, which of course, that trip to the food bank, that was a huge mistake. That was probably one of the dumbest things they've done since they lost nearly half of the Commonwealth. That was almost the dumbest thing that they've done since they lost half the Commonwealth. Yes, I agree, Your Majesty. It was dumb. All right. So I'm going to move on. I am going to move on, and we will get back here. Africa is world's biggest diamond producer, led by Botswana, but Botswana gets only 25% of its diamonds value. And until 2020, it was only 10%. Under 2011 deal with 75% to diamond multinational De Beers, with old contract expired, Botswana, or BOS, wants a fair 50-50 share, or De Beers can leave. Did you get all that? We want 50-50, or you can get to stepping. 50-50. Now imagine that. Up until 2020, they were getting only 10% of the share for the diamonds out of Botswana. 10%. And you know, they probably were getting less than that. I mean, I don't know how they did the accounting to come up with 10%, but it was probably less than that. I'm pretty sure of that. I am very sure of that. So, I don't know. Botswana's longtime diamond deal with De Beers under threat. Now, De Beers, in case you haven't heard of De Beers is what they have at the Bears games in Chicago. They have the Bears. Okay, that wasn't so good. But anyway, De Beers is a diamond consortium of sorts. De Beers Diamond Consortium is an international corporation that specializes in diamond mining, diamond exploitation, diamond retail, diamond trading, and industrial diamond industrial diamond manufacturing sectors. The company is active in open pit, large scale, alluvial, and coastal mining. It operates in 35 countries, and mining takes place in Botswana, Namibia, I can never say that, that country, South Africa, Canada, and Australia. Let me try that one more time. Namibia, that country. Okay, from its inception in 1888 until the start of the 21st century, De Beers controlled 80 to 85% of rough diamond distribution and was considered a monopoly. Competition has since dismantled its complete monopoly. The De Beers Group now sells approximately 29.5% of the world's rough diamonds produced by value through its global site holder and auction sales business. So years ago, diamonds were rare because they were very hard to get to. But with modern diamond mining or diamond mines, they have been able to refine this process of retrieving diamonds to the point where the marketplace was beginning to be flooded with them. And so De Beers wanted to actually hold diamonds to create a scarcity. So they started putting diamonds in vaults and saving them and holding them so that the prices would not drop. This way they create fluctuations in the market And so that's what that 80 to 85% was doing. But nowadays, it is, they have been finding diamonds in places where you would never suspect. I mean, who knew there was diamonds in Canada? You always expect diamonds to be in a place where it's very hot and there's like proximity to a active volcano or something like that. Well, it turns out there are a lot of diamonds in the world. The only hard part is getting to them. And so De Beers do not have the same monopoly that they used to have. And of course, with all of that going on, there's also the diamonds that are actually grown in a lab. So that was a big hit for them too. So let me see. Pomerose says, how are you negotiating for 50% of your own stuff? It's like, it's my house. I'll give you half and you get to run all 100% as you wish. Exactly, Pomerose. I guess the only card that they hold is the equipment and the expertise to mine the diamonds. But I'm pretty sure that they can take all of that stuff home if they want to take it home, and they will still find ways to produce diamonds from that mine, or they can go to a company where they'll get a fairer price. So you guys, please Google De Beers and look at some of the names that pop up, like Cecil Rose, Rothschild, and I'm trying to think of another name. But yeah, the industry is filled with blood, as you may have heard before. And yeah, people have literally shed blood to get to diamonds. But thank you so much, Pomerose, for your comment. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday to you. Tyler Perry. Don't we love Tyler Perry? Tyler Perry is donating $750,000 to pay senior citizens property taxes that live near his Atlanta film studio. The donation will ensure residents will not have to move away from their homes due to gentrification. So, if you guys have learned anything about Tyler Perry, that is that he's very generous, right? Well, Tyler Perry's studio has brought so much buzz and so much interest to the community near his studio, much like, let's say, Oprah's studio kind of helped build up the near west side of Chicago, where there was nothing but a bunch of empty or dilapidated industrial buildings, has turned into quite a posh area of the Windy City. Well, the same with the studios, where Tyler Perry has purchased this huge tract of land and created a Hollywood in Georgia, complete with a mock-up of the White House and other things. Well, Tyler Perry knows too well that some people will find themselves displaced, because once the area becomes swanky and interesting, like, okay, let me give you a good example of how it goes. Take the typical old industrial city in America, and this is what happens. Post-war, there is white flight. The white people move to the suburbs. The inner cities become jobless, and areas where there was industry become dilapidated and run down. And so, because you have these huge cavernous buildings with this great light pouring in, because some of those buildings were built at a time when they required large windows to help illuminate the place, they're perfect for artists. So the artists will buy or rent studio space. And then eventually, art dealers will open up galleries. And then once the galleries come, the restaurants come. And once the restaurants come, the young urban professionals, also known as yuppies, will show up, right? And then once the yuppies move in, they take some of these lofts and old buildings, and they rehab them and they live in them, and the prices are very low because you're not in the main part of the city. You're in a developing neighborhood, a neighborhood that had seen better days. All of a sudden has become swanky and interesting, and then eventually they'll open up a boutique hotel, and of course, older people, well, then they start buying into the neighborhood, and some of them see it as an investment to own property there. They retire there. And so what happens is some of the families who have lived in that area find their property taxes rise and they can no longer afford to be there. And a lot of old people who thought they'd spend the rest of their lives in this neighborhood or close proximity find out that their property is very valuable or that their taxes are incredibly, but they don't want to move. Yeah, I can get a good lot of money, but this is my neighborhood. And so they can't afford it. So Tyler Perry decided, well, you know what? I am going to help the only way I know how. I will help subsidize their tax payments so that they don't have to move. So anyway, that's my version of it. And check this out. One of the actually, it was not a squatty, but I think it was someone who, well, they don't find the royal family so appealing these days, and so they wanted to remind people with this very dramatic illustration of what the argument is about the crown jewels, and in particular, the Koh-i-Noor diamond. They said that at one time, India was the as a continent, because you know there were many kingdoms in India, but as a continent, it was the wealthiest place on earth. And the rail lines that was built by the West India Company, well, those rail lines weren't made to move people from city to city. Those rail lines were laid so that they could extract the wealth out of India. And extract the wealth they did by creating rivalries and, of course, starting the occasional disruption and wars or whatever between, you know, interested parties. They were able to somehow come in there and take over everything. And so India, well, India lost a lot of their art and culture and wealth to the British Empire. And if that's not insulting enough, Queen Victoria was officially named the Empress of India. She became the Empress of India. And yeah, so that is what happened. And they're trying to remind people about that. And then as for Africa, well, the transatlantic slave trade, that enriched a whole lot of people in England. Families were torn apart. People were literally starved or became ill and thrown into the sea. And those who survived would find themselves in a strange world, you know, with strange customs and stuff. Their names were changed, all of those things. But in between all that, there was the pursuit of diamonds, of wealth. And so that is another version of the crown jewels that Camilla is planning to wear. So even though she may not have the Koh-i-Noor diamond on the coronation day, the crown jewels themselves are controversial. And the discussion surrounding not only wearing these jewels, but a lot of the countries where the jewels were stolen or extracted, if you will, but stolen in most cases. They want to repatriate those items, that wealth, back to India and back to Africa. Okay. I said plenty about Nicola Sturgeon yesterday, and I was very, very upset. And there were some people who didn't agree with the, you know, it wasn't that people didn't agree, but you know, people were heartbroken for her, and assumed that I was only upset about things in a different way from, I don't know how I'm going to put this, but anyway, I understand she had to leave. The only problem that I had with her leaving, I'm glad that she's taking care of herself, but I just hated that right after Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, it just seems like it's a conspiracy or a plot. I don't know why it happened, but for the sake of women's rights, for the sake of women's live, for the sake of empowering women to live their full potential, to me, it was like a really bad blow. And I hated that because the tabloid media, well, if you saw some of the articles that came out yesterday, especially Dan Wooten, he was particularly brutal. If you saw some of those articles, you can understand why I was very, very upset about that, because I knew what they were going to do with it. And of course, that's not a good reason to want to stay in a situation that is unhealthy for you. But for the sake of all women, I thought it was quite a blow, and it's unfortunate. But Nicola's got to do what Nicola's got to do, and they were making life miserable for her, and the quality of her life was not good. So she had to go, and I understand that. And again, it wasn't for selfish reasons, but I was thinking about all women and you know, what the results would be. And I hate a bully, and she was bullied out of her position. Um, and I don't like for bullies to win. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I hate a bully, and I hate to give bullies the benefit of winning. And it's not to say that Nicola's defeated, but just the same, it was quite painful, the reality of it. Dan Wooten said, scheming Sturgeon, sniveling resignation is proof that embracing an extreme woke agenda, then calling a male R word, um, her is okay, calling a male R word a her is a ticket to political oblivion. She leaves the Scottish separation cause in tatters. And that was just about as ugly and as filthy as Dan Wooten is capable of being. The only problem is that he has more of that up his sleeves with, you know, anybody that he writes about. And that was what I was expecting. And that's what happened. And oh man, it confirms to people who did not like her or who do not believe in the quote unquote woke causes or liberal politics, it's a feather in their cap. It's a win for them. And that frustrated me. So that is where I was coming from. So, Nicola, best of wishes to you. It is not the end. Nicola's going to stay in government, and she said she's going to serve from the back benches. And I wish her the best. And oh man, just I hate that. Hate, hate it. I hate that smugness of the right wing bothers me. It bothers me so much. And I just you know how I am. I'm about as liberal as they come. And anticipating the very smug, evil, malicious statements that I knew was coming. Right, Myra? Why would two of the most important women leaders in the world step down? I can understand when Angela Merkel stepped down because she had been chancellor, president, chancellor. She had been there for a long time. So it was time for a change. But she could have stayed longer if she wanted to, but it was time. But for Jacinda, for Nicola, it's fishy. It's fishy. And I hate that that they were able to possibly maybe push them out of their positions like that for whatever mysterious reason. So I'm not the one that stepped down, so it's not fair for me to be this bothered by it. But it's just as a feminist and someone who's always believed in the causes of women, I felt it was a shock. I'll say that I was shocked by it, and it was hard to process it, and it's still hard to process it because you guys know I talked about Nicola Sturgeon all the time and the independence movement and such. Well, the movement's not dead. It's just she won't be the one in the driving seat for now. So, okay, you guys. So I'm going to move on from that. Oh, the other reason why I brought this up is because take a look at that. High risk Nicola had issues with alcohol. Now, taking a look at that, who do you think they're talking about? This is as evil. And if she hadn't announced stepping down, they wouldn't have. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. They may have done it anyway. But when you look at that, you would assume that they're speaking about Nicola Sturgeon. Now, if you notice, okay, here I go doing my Claudia Bolin. As a matter of fact, when I do this, I may call it my Claudia Bolin, but take a look at that. You'll notice that it says, is the future of our union safer now Sturgeon has gone? Where's Nicola? It says Sturgeon, and that's it. And then down there, high-risk Nicola had issues with alcohol. So are we to believe that Nicola Sturgeon left because she drank too much? I think that's what it implies by the way the graphics and the caption is laid out. Now, of course, I know that's not what it means, but at a glance, subliminally, you are supposed to assume that she couldn't manage her alcohol intake. When the truth is, they're talking about someone else. They're talking about the person in the photo there, not Nicola Sturgeon. See how crafty that is? See how crafty that is. Now that's disgusting. But like I said, you guys, I have studied politics for a long time, not, only in school, but just as a hobby. And I know a fix when I see one. And the whole point of that was to make her look bad. Aris Wood says, okay, she's listening to the part, or she or he, I'm not sure, is listening to the part with, what's his name? Paul Burrell. Okay, well, catch up when you can. Let me see here. Yeah, and let's see. Isn't she the other woman Clarkson hated with Meghan? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The media, the tabloid media had it in for her, and now they got what they wanted. And as they said, there were actually some people that were celebrating. They were celebrating her announcement, celebrating. Champagne bottles were popping their corks in celebration of this awful blow to, to the empowerment of women. But it's just a setback. It's not the end of the story. So, okay, I'm going to move on. So right here, you can see it said, oh, hold on 1 second, you guys. Let me get back over here. Okay. All right. So, yes, Dorothy Ross, I realized that. Dorothy Ross is reminding us that the lady that has been missing Her name happened to be Nicola. Thank you for, oh, sorry, that's not it. There we go. Thank you for making sure that that is understood, clarifying that in case anybody didn't know that the lady that was missing, her name happened to be Nicola. And you know what, Dorothy, I haven't followed that story at all. And I don't know, but isn't it weird that they have this big blaring headline about her having issues with alcohol? I mean, I'm assuming that this woman has a family and that her family might walk into a Tesco's and find this paper sitting on the shelf or on the rack. And, or maybe they pass a newsstand and they see this paper there. I wonder how that would feel. Marshall says GB will continue to suffer from the tabloid lies as long as they allow it. Is that Great Britain? Those people need to wake up and see the lies are making them Kool-Aid drinkers to an evil narrative. They are sheep. Well, Marshall, unfortunately, that is on both sides of the Atlantic, isn't it? Because where the British media stops, don't forget, we have our own lie machine here in the US. We have our own tabloid television, tabloid news, and of course, that what is it, the triangle of evil, where the tabloids from Australia, the United States, and Britain all seem to feed each other this poison. And the poison at some point is sold or promoted or broadcast to the masses. And what we have are a bunch of very cynical, negative, nasty people that think they know the whole story. They don't realize that that these things are done to, I guess, for political reasons, for economic reasons. I mean, how else do you convince people? Like the Republicans here in the United States, more often than not, are voting against their own interests. They voted against Obamacare. But the thing is, thanks to Obama, more people, Republican, Democrat, Black, white, Asian, more people than ever have health insurance guaranteed by law, that you would have access to health insurance, right? But they voted against that. They voted against it. And the crazy part is, but you probably know this, Marshall, if you would ask some of these American conservative Republicans, well, if I came up with a medical plan where such and such and such and such, and so and so, and this, that, and the other, if I made up a plan like that, would you vote for it? Yeah. Well, it's called the, what is it? The Assured Medical Act or medical, well, anyway. But the nickname is Obamacare, the Affirmative Medical Act, whatever the name of it is. They say, yes, I would want that. I do want that. And you know what? That sounds a lot better than that Obamacare, only for them to find out that it is Obamacare. Thank you. The Affordable Health Care Act. Thank you so much. The Affordable Health Care Act. Once they find out that the Affordable Health Care Act is actually Obamacare, you know what their response is? Their response is, no, it isn't. Oh, man. I love when Uncle Joe Biden said that they vote against these things. The politicians in Congress, the congressmen, the senators, they'll vote against the highway bill. And then when it's time to have the symbolic first shovel of soil dug, the first, groundbreaking. They're there with their shovels and smiling at the cameras, even though they voted against it. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Okay, here we go. So let me pull this down so I can see what it says there. And what may be considered the latest snub to the British royal family, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank Governor Timothy Anton says that in his evaluation, there is no appetite in the region for King Charles to feature on the currency of the Eastern Caribbean. In other words, you're out. You are out. So this is yet another snub to King Charles the Third. And right here, His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen Consort are to visit Milton Keynes to formally mark city status. So Milton Keynes is officially a city, right? Is that what that means? Their city status. So Milton Keynes is marking their city status, and as we know, the Queen Consort, or Sonny Hostin says, the Queen Cohort, is unable to attend because she has been stricken with it again for, I think, the third time. So she wasn't able to go. However, let us not forget, I destroyed Diana. I stole her husband and her life. There's literally nothing I will not do in order to keep it. So, of course, that is an exaggerated meme, but you get the point, don't you? Anyway, but after all that, she just didn't show up because she doesn't feel good. She has those cold-like symptoms and all that kind of stuff. So there was no way that she could be there. But Charles was able to arrive, and Charles was met by a very warm, loving crowd of people who embraced him wholeheartedly. I mean, they snatched him into their bosoms and they caressed those gigantic hands and they pinched those cheeks with those huge fissures or lines or whatever. I mean, it couldn't have turned out any better. So it just goes to show you guys that even though we all suspect that there's this vast movement of people who would who would like to see him replaced with an elected head of state, you guys, actually, I'm just kidding. There was a big crowd of people out there with signs that says, Neiman Marcus, Neiman Marcus. Josephine, what are you saying here? Seriously, Baron, I study CIA handling of anti-terror. It's thought that making fun of the terrorists really throws them off their game. You're so artistic. Please think of a cartoon show. Okay, I have to find something appropriate. But yeah, so I was just kidding about that. The truth is, Charles was embarrassed yet again today. Well, there were no eggs, but good thing his emotional support, Camilla, wasn't there because she'd have been likewise embarrassed. So Charles is in front of the police officer, the one in the middle of the screen that does not have the police thing on the back of his coat. But there you can see Charles there on the right. You can see the crowd of people. Some of them are there celebrating and enthusiastic. But of course, there is a bunch of people that showed up with signs. Oh, they were waiting for him. They were waiting for him. And check out this guy. This is someone trying to assess his life. as it is today. This is someone who's not sure that he made the right choices when he joined the police force. Who knows? Maybe this might be his last day at work. Maybe he will decide that it's just not worth it. Oh, man. But whatever the case may be, he doesn't seem to be a happy camper, as they say. Poor guy. And there it is, Not My King. Now, I'm trying to identify the guy who wrote the book. The guy who wrote that book that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, he's part of the Republican movement. He may be the one holding the sign with the M, but I'm not sure. But he posted that he would be there. But no, I don't think any of those are. Yeah, I don't think any of those people are the guys. But yeah, so that is what was waiting for Charles when he got there. Now, you have to give it to the old man. He walked right over, he waded into the crowd, and he went over and said hi to everybody. He was not discouraged by it at all. However, this is embarrassing. And you guys know that if this happened today, it is going to happen again and again and again. This was, there were a couple of times when the Queen was protested, especially when she went to Scotland. So, but Charles is getting the type of protest that I don't believe the Queen has ever experienced in the UK. And right there, you can see there. A protester was detained by police, although not arrested, after holding up a blank piece of paper as William and Kate visit Cornwall. He said, "It's the 21st century and we don't need a monarchy anymore." So it's interesting how this one person with a piece of paper, the lone protester at this event, was actually pushed away from the crowd and then, of course, questioned by the police. Whereas here, apparently there is safety in numbers. None of those people were accosted. None of them were pushed back. And they have signs that actually have writing on it. But these people actively booed Charles. They didn't just hold up their signs. They were booing him. Big difference. What makes Will and Kate so special? I mean, what was this kid's offense? Holding up a blank piece of paper saying that this is the 21st century? Or did he point out how ugly that coat is? Did he mention how ugly that coat is? Did he dare say what everybody else was thinking when she walked out of that car? She stepped out that car in that drab, unflattering, ill-fitting coat. Was that his offense? Is that the third rail? Did he dare touch a third rail? So they say that he mentioned that this is the 21st century. We don't need a monarchy. Or did he say this is the 21st century? There's no excuse for that coat. I'm going to assume that it was the latter, that he just didn't like that coat. So there you have it. There is some disparity in the way that they approach a protester. So here you are, King Charles III, coronation, 6 May 2023, or in other words, Archie's birthday. There you have the Tudor rose on top of the crown. There's the thistle. There's the clovers representing Northern Ireland. There's a whole lot of symbolism here. And then, of course, there is the alternative to this, which is this one, created by someone, as this coronation logo is supposed to represent Charles' concern for the environment. we thought we'd make a couple of changes. Well, someone on the interweb produced this one, and if you'll notice, there is an airplane in the center, and of course, there is one of Charles' many lofty homes. This one, I believe, Buckingham Palace, and of course, his usual means of transportation. As Petal says, they use helicopters like they're a car, like a taxi, like a Uber. That's what she says. They use the helicopters like an Uber. And of course, further symbolism, there's a helicopter. Everything to represent Charles' not concern, I would say, impact on the environment. But wait, there's more. How about this version? Protect, well, okay, I started at the top. Charity donations from Qatar, whatever memo means, Cayman Island accounts, the Prince's Foundation for Integrated Healthcare, Protect Environment, sell knighthoods, for sale knighthoods, and I don't know what the Galileo, I don't know what that is, and freedom of information or the lack thereof. So this is another version of the the logo or the branding for the coronation. So I don't know. I may have to make one myself. These are pretty clever, but maybe I'll make one myself. One that includes sausages, sausage fingers. One that will include, let me see, what else? Some of the stuff I want to include might get me in trouble, so I guess I won't. And Dickie does it again. Now, you guys, I need your help with this. Which Dickie was it? Was it Dickie? Oh gosh, what is his name? Anyway, that Dickie, or was it Dickie Eden? Dickie, what is his name? Oh, okay, Dickie Palmer. It was one of the Dickies. So the makers of South Park have lampooned Harry and Meghan mercilessly, much more so than the teaser hinted. A sign of Sussexes have really made it in the US, or further evidence of a loss of support. Well, that has backfired in the most epic way possible. South Park takes on Kate and Will's and royal wedding spoof. Well, the Sussex Squad Detective Agency, they reached all the way back to 2011. Not reached, retched. That's how the old folks used to say when I was growing up. They retched all the way back. Child, they retched. I mean to tell you, they retched all the way back to 2011 to find out that South Park had actually made a spoof about the Cambridge wedding. That's how far back they retched. And so it was Dickie Palmer that actually started the uproar on Twitter. And of course, the supporters of the Sussexes were able to dig out this dirt. And now even the Daily Mail, among others, are reminding people that this is not the first time that they made fun of the royal family. See how stuff like that backfires? Now, this is what I need your help with. Was it Dickie Arbiter? Not Arbiter. Was it Dickie Eden or Dickie Palmer? Which is the one who started that thing about William and the Rose Garden? Which one of them was it with William and the Rose Garden? Was it Eden or Palmer? I think it was Richard Eden, right? But Richard Eden had said something that really pissed off the Sussex Squad. And next thing you know, the Sussex Squad had things trending about the Rose Garden. And from there, it turned into the Prince of Pegging. And all of that started because they started messing with Harry and Meghan. and the Sussex squad wasn't having it. And then next thing you know, everybody was talking about the Prince of Pegging. Let me see, Palmer, right? I thought it was Palmer, but then I started to doubt myself, and I said, okay, it was Eden. It was Eden that started the whole thing. I mean, on the one hand, he was trying to help, and next thing you know, he ended up creating this uproar that had everybody talking about Peggate. So I guess you could say thank you, but no thanks. That's what you get for trying to help. So if you look over there now, South Park is trending. And South Park is trending with what? Prince of Pegging. Now it is trending with Prince of Pegging. Are you satisfied now? Are you satisfied? Okay. Had to have a little drink of water. So, whichever Dickie it was, the point is, Dickie has done it again. If you take a look here, now I can't play it, of course, but it starts out, there's Harry, there's William, there's Kate, and there's the father. See it in a small caption there? Well, at some point during the ceremony, Kate has to remove you see on the right side, there's a big bowl of pudding or something like that. Kate has to remove the pudding from his arms or whatever. It was so weird. And then next thing you know, William decided it was time to snatch and yank her arm. And of course, I always suspected she was a mannequin, so I'm not surprised her arm was able to be pulled right out of socket and ripped from her very narrow, long torso. And then eventually he took the arm and he began to do that. He began to peg with it. Very weird cartoon. And so take a look here. So they have made quite a meal out of this. As you can see at the top, there's 1, 2, 3, and then at the bottom, 4. There's 4 articles about the Sussexes. Well, 3 here, but I believe there's another one about the Sussexes and this whole thing about the South Park cartoon. But running right along with it is South Park history of Dragging the Royals, episode Royal Pudding spoofed Wedding of Prince and Princess of Wales, where a roof of church caved in and bride-to-be was taken away. So it's a weird cartoon. I haven't actually seen it, but I've seen a clip of it on the Twitter. And so that is what happened by saying disparaging things about the Sussexes. All of a sudden, now South Park trending with Prince of Pegging, because in the illustration, well, let me see. You can see here on the right side. You can see here on the right side, South Park History of Dragon Royals, episode Royal Pudding spoofed William and Kate, where William was pegging himself with bride-to-be as bride-to-be was watching, but they don't mention that it was the bride-to-be's arm. So it starts again. We are going to go into the weekend with this whole story about I'll never be your Prince of Pegging. I'll never be your Prince of Pegging. I walked for miles and now I'm begging. So there you go. I hope y'all satisfied. What was supposed to be a day where they were going to have a good laugh at the expense of Harry and Meghan turned into Peggate. Coming soon to a theater near you, Peggate. And let us remember how far Peggate went the first time. The first time there was a Peggate, a royal rumor might be inspiring straight men to get pegged, and that's beautiful. Searches for pegging went up 400% after a salacious rumor started circulating about Prince William's alleged sexual predications. So there you go. I'm sorry, predilections, not predications, predilections. Okay, there you go. Even SpongeBob got into the act. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Woo! Happy Thursday, everyone. But it's not the first time that there's been confusion. Like, for instance, how about that time that, we're okay, where am I at here? Oh, I'm sorry. What was I doing here? So, as we know, people have confused Kate for being a mannequin. Well, there was that time when William was confused for a bottle of Mitchum roll-on deodorant. How about that time when they were at the Earth shop, Earth flop, and I mean, really, you could have used the picture of Kate standing next to a giant Mitchum roll-on, or you could have used William. If you notice, as you look left and right, can you really tell the difference? I can't. Or how about this? How about that time when Kate was mistaken for the green M&M or mistaken for a windsock? I mean, if I told you that the one on the right side was Kate with that dazed smile on her face, you'd believed me. You wouldn't have known the difference. But Kate is actually in the middle and on the end. And then about that time when Kate proved herself to be an ecosystem unto herself, she is an absolute tropical rainforest in heels. Kate's country cottage kitchen curtain outfit, aka Jolly Green Giant dress, um, again, it's easy to mistake her for a advertising icon like the Jolly Green Giant. And of course, that time people mistook um, Granny from Beverly Hillbillies as Princess Kate. I mean, the resemblance is remarkable. You got the bags beneath the eyes, the sagging jowls, and the dime store hat. You can't tell one from the other. I can't. And with that, you guys, I am done. It went over 2 hours. That was not my intentions today, but we have gone over that 2 hour mark. As you know, I've been trying to make the Royal Sussex a little shorter, and again, I have failed. But the cool thing is, if you go over to Anne's, guess what she's talking about right now? She's talking about South Park. So I am going to get the link for you guys. If you want to go over there, go ahead, because I am about to close it down for the day. But I do thank you so much for being here. And also thank you for your generous contributions. And thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex. So yeah, you guys go over there and catch the, there it is. Oh, did I put that at the top of the chat? No, I didn't. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. Okay. There you go. All right. So there it is. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. And that will conclude Wait, how did my mic get muted? My mic got muted. Oh, well. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Didn't know it was muted. And thank you to our two queens, our queen of hearts and our queen of everything. Okay, how do I get out of this? I had enough of them. Oh, I rather like that one. There we go. Oh, did I? What did I do? Oh, wait. Am I in the chat? Okay. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. That was weird. Okay. Wow, that was strange. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, moderators. And let me see here. Yes, thank you, moderators. What's that? Baron Camilla don't look either, but she's showing up everywhere else. Yeah, she couldn't go there, but she's every place else. Tamika agrees, says Baron. Will and Kate is the future for some of them. And why is that brown trench coat look so big for her? Well, I mean, you know, I don't call them bed knobs and broomsticks for nothing. So, what else? Let me see. Patricia Lane says, Baron, there's an article written by Marie Claire from the UK stating that Eugenie is endorsing what Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan have said about the royals. Seriously? Now, Marie Claire, sometimes it's kind of like, oh gosh, what's that other one? Aren't they kind of like, I don't know, Marie Claire, isn't that kind of like Nikki Swift or one of those other things? Isn't it kind of like that? I mean, I haven't looked at Marie Claire that often, but I tell you what, I will check that article and see what I can see. But interesting. That's interesting. No, I haven't heard that, but that is interesting. Let me see. Okay, you guys, I am fixing to go. Let me see here. I'm trying to close this out. I need to have a last comment to end our day. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, Marie Claire is a tabloid. They aren't credible anymore. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. They have gone the way of Newsweek, haven't they? Newsweek used to be credible, and now they're garbage. But I will check it out just the same. Everyone continue to pray for the Sussexes and each other. Very good cookies and cream. That is what I was looking for. Thank you so much. You guys, I cannot thank you all enough. Thank you so much for the gifts that I received at the Royal Sussex official wish list on Amazon. Cool stuff. I got my stainless steel bowl. So now I have one in 2 sizes. And that cube thing, I got to show you the cube. It is so cute. It's like a little thingamajig. You pick it up, you look at it. You could also use it as a paperweight, which is exactly what I'm doing with it right now. And then also my sister, I know she's not listening probably, but she sent me an amazing box full of goodies for St. Patrick's Day. And that is always a thrill for me. So, okay, you guys, again, you can go ahead and bounce over to Anne's. Matter of fact, I'm going to send a message over there right now. Hey, y'all. Here we go. But anyway, I'm going to have to roll it back so I can watch it. Oh, hark, is that the wish list? Yes, it is. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Okay, you guys, I swear I'm done going over there because I didn't mean to be on so long today. And I will see you all tomorrow. Let me see here. Oh, Doris Heather Turrington, you are quite welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'm gonna Ginger Avenger, and then I am gonna go. Love you guys. See you all tomorrow. Cue Ginger Avenger. Okay, so I put Anne's link back at the top of the chat. The party will continue over there. I think she's doing phone calls today. That's always fun. And as they say in those old Western movies, now y'all get. They always have that real nasty, greasy looking old alcoholic cowboy. Now get. Now you get. I told y'all. Now you get. Now get. Okay, I'm finna go, y'all. Bye now.